So we're here again with Bryan Schroeder of Fasterhouse Real Estate in St. Louis, and one of the specialties Fasterhouse has and Bryan Schroeder has is that they help people who've inherited a home figure out what the best thing is to do with the house, as far as selling it, fixing it up. Maybe even renting it out could be an option. But so, Bryan, I wanted to get your feedback on this and your expertise. You've been in the industry for decades now. In your opinion, when might it make more sense to fix a house up before trying to sell it, rather than selling it as is?
Generally, I think it's going to be if the repairs are not that large. If it's not that much. If it's just some cosmetic things like a fresh coat of paint on the interior or new carpet, just some minor cosmetic things. Then I think it probably makes more sense to just spruce it up and list it with a traditional real estate agent. Especially if you're, the person that's doing it has the time, for one thing, and also is in town. A lot of the folks that, with the way the world is these days, quite often you inherit a house and you're in another state or something, and then that's definitely a challenge. But if you're local, you have the money, because sometimes it's hard to get money out of an estate, and the repairs are kind of cosmetic, then I think it might make sense to just spruce it up and list it with a good traditional real estate agent that knows the area.
It sounds like time is a huge factor, meaning that do you have the time to mess with it, and also maybe do you have the time to wait for it to even sell in that situation, correct? That
is true, absolutely. And quite often it's kind of interesting, when somebody inherits a house, quite often they have 3 or 4 brothers and sisters, and my experience is that the one that's kind of handling the affairs of the estate is the responsible one, and maybe there's 1 or 2 others that are in the family that are saying, "Get that house sold so we can get some money in our pockets," So that's quite often the case. So time does come into a factor in that instance sometimes.
So that would be a good reason to try and sell the house as is. What are other situations where you see people in where you're thinking, yeah, it makes much more sense for you to sell this house as is rather than spend much time on it?
That's usually the case where it hasn't been updated for years, especially if you're getting into you need to update electrical or plumbing, or replacing your kitchens, or really updating bathrooms, really digging into the house a little bit. It definitely, from my experience, makes a lot more sense to just sell it as is. Most people, especially in their busy lives, don't have the time to manage a major rehab project unless they're like really in the trades and they really know what they're doing, which most people these days don't. And they usually underestimate the time required and the amount of money required to get a house fixed up and in shape to list it if it hasn't been updated for years.
I think in one of our earlier interviews you said listing and selling a house and fixing up a house can be a full-time job.
Yeah, that's pretty much right. It sure can. Most people, or a lot of people, if they hadn't done it before, they underestimate the time required. And another thing I'll throw out is these days so many cities and counties have they're updating houses to current codes, and if you're not up on what those are, you can be making mistakes, and you really need to get the city or the county or whoever's the authority in that area into the house to see what kind of things that they're going to require before you get going on the project.
So how does if someone decides they don't have the time, the resources, the wherewithal to fix up a house and try to sell it themselves, what does Fasterhouse do to help people in those situations? Is it just give cash for the house, or is there a lot more kind of services you provide?
Well, we give people options. One of the things that we do is we offer them price for the house just as is. What we can do to just help get the house out of their hands as is. We make it quick and easy and convenient for them. We can pay cash, close fast. You know, if they sell the house to us, they don't have to worry about real estate fees, commissions, closing costs, stuff like that. So we're really kind of the easy button for them. And then we can also help them if there's like items in the house that need to be removed. We quite often have bought the house with everything in it. You know, just tell them, you know, get the things out of the house that you or your family members want, and we'll give you a price, kind of like a package price for cleaning up the house, selling anything that might be valuable that they don't want, and move it that way.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. That's very helpful information for anyone in a situation that's inherited a house and trying to figure out what to do with it. That's all the time we have for today. We will have more interviews getting Bryan's feedback and expertise on what to do if you have a house you need to sell potentially quickly, especially if you've inherited one. But in the meantime, if you want to get a hold of Bryan, especially if you're in the St. Louis area, you can visit the website fasterhouse.com. Again, that's fasterhouse.com. And thank you for watching the video. And Bryan, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.